Guys, haven't you heard? Cyber Dragons are an OTK deck. They cannot grind, they cannot keep up, and they just simply cannot play past a few turns. Right? That's what they tell us all the time. Anyway, thanks for coming back, guys. We have a special replay today. We're working on climbing up Duelingbook. I'm really busy between work and kids and trying to do other videos and everything like that, so I don't have a ton of time to play on ranked, but we have been doing it a lot more lately. And we actually, on our no dupe build, or no dupe, our no dragoon build, we won our first 8 matches, so it's actually going really good overall. And in this one particularly, we are going up against D Hager with almost 1100 ratings. So as soon as I saw that, I mean, I'm at 560 at the time of recording this, so I was like, okay, it's game on now, getting late, not a lot of players in the pool, and we get one of the big fish. So we're going against one of the 1,000+ rating guys. I was like, we're just gonna, we gotta show out, we gotta do it. This is what we're here for. We try to win and play competitive, so here it is. And yeah, so he opens Prank-Kids Dropsy, so it's Prank-Kids. Like I said, guys, we can't grind, so we lost already, right? One instant fusion, crazy. One of infinite permanence, another dropsies, and ash blossom. So he's got 2 hand traps, an amazing extender, and 1 kid is combo. So, would you look at that? We open instant fusion too. Pot of prosperity, Naxter, overflow, and core. So he's gonna start off by summoning his dropsies and going into a meow meow. Spoiler alert, guys, this match took 57 minutes. It's not going to take that long for the video, though, don't worry. So then he goes into his fansies off his dropsies, and then obviously Doodle comes out, sending the Pandemonium, summoning Lampsies, grabbing Pranks off of Doodle. Then Doodle's effect is going to get him Pandemonium and Fansies back to his hand, where he already has his dropsies. Now he's going to use Pranks, discarding that same dropsies, getting a token, 2, now going for a second copy of Doodle. And then he's going to summon his Roxy's. Now he's going to go and link off into his Bow Wow, so that way, he's loading up his graveyard, he's setting up his combo, and he's actually going to do some pretty crazy things, because he opened instant fusion. Like, card's so crazy. He draws into a Pandemonium too. Like, that's just even better, because now you don't necessarily have to, I guess he already grabbed the other one, but like, you can kind of cater your playing away from needing to get that copy because you already have it. Instant fusion, burning that 1,000 life points he gained off the dropsies earlier, and he also gets the free summon of dropsies. Now he's going to use Rocket, summoning another dropsy, so you already know Toad's coming out, and then the Doodle. So there's the Toad, sets the both Pandemoniums, that way if I say Cosmic Cyclone 1, he still has another without having to shotgun it right away. Shuffling back Doodle, Rocket, and Dropsies in order to draw a card, and he draws into a Lampsies too. Oh my goodness, like, good draw, good draw. Anyway, so we draw into a machine dupe. Okay, good draw, good draw. Like, it's game on, let's do this. Bow Wow getting Roxy's and his Lampsies into his hand because Toad can get Dropsies. Then we use Pot of Prosperity. I wanted him to negate it with Toad, so I sent 6. I have pretty much what I need, and ideally, I usually like to send 3, but I wanted him to negate it. If I sent 3, I didn't know if he would negate it. So if he negates and destroys the core, I'm in a lot of trouble because I can't special summon the Naxter. I mean, I could Prosperity then and go for it, but I wanted Toad to negate it. And once he sees Cyber Dragon, he'd probably let the Prosperity go through too. So I made sure to try and get him to negate it as much as I could. And then the Toad going to the grave also nets him that dropsies that he needed. So we summon core, grabbing our rev system because, well, Butler pops cards. So now we're going to core into our Almirage, rev system back that core, and use machine duplication. So he meets it with an Ash Blossom that hurts a lot. His hand is loaded with kids. He has 2 copies of fusion. Definitely not in a good position. We use our instant fusion, getting our Panzer Dragon. Again, I actually did not read a card here. Bow Wow protects his cards, so Panzer Pop in the end phase is not going to happen. And then he put that there baiting me this time. And I mean, I had to take the bait. If I don't, like, they put Butler there, like, you have to Mega Fleet him, but you're going to trigger Butler, and it's just kind of a lose-lose situation being right there. I wanted to keep the Almirage though, just in case I need protection. But anyway, like I said, the Butler will then trigger and he gets towed back because it's not a fusion. And then, okay, so then we're just going to attack over the toad because, well, we don't want it, you know. That's just, it's a negate that we got to play through. So, and then still in the main phase, I did not quite ask him in time. Pandemonium into Weather Washer, kind of making things like even worse for us. Roxy's and draws into an Ash Blossom, and then end phase Panzer, but Bow Wow protects them. So yeah, that's kind of how that went. And then he used the Weather Washer, using Meow Meow to banish instead, summoning out 2 more. We didn't set the overflow because, I mean, a lot was going on and I completely missed it, but it wasn't gonna matter. Like he had that game so far ahead. I had no way of coming back. I opt to go first in game 2, and we actually draw Insane. He has no hand traps. We have Core, Hers, Overflow, and D Barrier with Cyber Dragon too. So we're gonna skip ahead because we all know Cyber Dragon combo. We're gonna do this, but with Cyber Dragon in our hand, it means that our Hers can get our Core back to our hand. Nice thing about not playing Dragoon, you don't need to keep that discard. So I can do things like this. I can set up my follow-up plays even better. And then we actually revive the Hers so that way I can get my another copy of Cyber Dragon. I want the one out of my deck though, because then I'll have Core and a Cyber Dragon. So say like Core, search emergency, get Naxxter, pitch Cyber Dragon, special summon, and then bring out the Cyber Dragon. Like, it gives you a lot more lines of play in that regard. But just trying to plus right here. Should I have negated it? Maybe. I mean, like with his hand, it would have been okay to negate it. But I don't know. I felt like it wasn't the right call to negate that yet. Then we see the wow, can't even talk. The polymerization come out. So we chain D Barrier, calling fusion obviously, and then the Dropsies comes out, and I thought about doing it right then and there too, like just hit the Dropsies and the it would have been just the Dropsies because I didn't use Infinity to negate anything yet. So like, I don't know. I mean, he would have reborned then, and then I would have negated. So I mean, I'd be okay still, but I don't know. I wanted to save it a little bit so that now we negate the fusion or the field spell. And like I said, if we would have negated it before, it could have definitely changed things up and been much better for us. But anyway, we negate it then, and then we go Hers effect, which gets met by a Skullmeister. On summon, then we just pop 2, blow up his field, and he is going to draw 2 off of talents. He draws Droll and Ash Blossom, so not very good on his end. And then we can go ahead and draw into another Core because that's amazing. We use Core, he meets it with Ash, we detach Nova because you'll see here in just a second, and then we get to draw our Overflow. He Droll unlocks us, which is fine because we're going to go into our Verde and our Rampage, and that is going to be enough for game actually because we're going to have 63 plus 500 is 68 plus 23, so we actually have 9100 damage. So we're able to do 91, and he has 9,000, and that will be game. He would have drew into Super Poly for turn. Game 3. So, I mean, let's see where we're at here. We're at only 25 minutes. This game 3 lasted literally a half an hour. Crazy. So, and we actually started to get a lot of watchers in here too. I think they're like, hey guys, go check out this match. It's insane. And game 3 was insane is one way to put it. You're going to see just how good Cyber Dragon can grind here. We had some really bad top decks and luck, and he had a really good draw late, but it was just like so back and forth. He had a couple misplays, and we had a less than optimal play, but at the time I still stand by the play. It just did not work out how I wanted it to. I'll point it out once we get there. So he opens Fansies, Pranks, Place, Lampsies, and Super Poly when it all matters. We open Cyber Dragon, Emergency, Hers, Naxxter, and Overload Fusion. So let's go ahead and get on into it. He is going first. We're probably going to change the deck around a little because I've been playing a lot of Prank-Kids, and they're actually my 3rd best deck of the format, and I realize I don't have a whole lot to counter them really, because they don't have the same counters as a lot of the other top decks do. Droll doesn't do a whole lot. They play through Droll relatively easily. Um, Nibiru can hit them, but it doesn't really hit other decks. And once like they can play around Nibiru so well. Like he already played around Nibiru here, so like it's just I don't know. Nibiru's not the greatest. Otherwise, like Lancia, they play around Lancia just fine because they don't really rely on banishing. And then yeah, like the three big lingering, big impact hand traps, hitting like Ash or Meister on that first kid is probably one of the better calls. But like Ash and Meister are useful versus like every deck, but they're not really. I'm gonna stop your turn versus any decks, and that just makes it kind of hard for me to want to actually play them over like board breaking cards. But like Dark Ruler No More even isn't that great because by the time they summon Butler, they probably blew up your field already once before you activate it, and like yeah, it's just I don't know, it's not the greatest. So we draw into a mind control for turn. He's gonna bow out once again, meaning his monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects, and he gets his dropsies and a pandemonium to his hand, and it begins. So we're gonna go ahead and throw out the emergency there, and it does get met with the Ash, special summoning Cyber Dragon. He again has Super Poly and Pandemonium both set, discarding the Hers to summon Cyber Dragon Naxter. No Hers effect. He's going to use Pandemonium on the resolution, sending a whole bunch, summoning a whole bunch, and once we summon all his, changing his mind. Once he summons his, then we're going to go ahead and use Battle Butler's effect. By I mean obviously him, substituting with Meow Meow, destroying both of my monsters. Then we're going to go ahead and Mind Control because I don't want to get blown up again. So we Mind Control and take it. Overload Fusion, there's no point in me tributing it. Like I could tribute it and then blow up his field, except they can't be destroyed, so I can't really blow up his field. I might as well keep the card. Overload Fusion, banishing 3. Summon Rampage, blow up all of his back row. He is not running Drago Stapelia because he definitely could have Stapelia'd me otherwise from his Super Poly, so that actually works in our favor. I play Super Poly too, guys, and play Drago Stapelia. I go into it probably about as often as I do Starving Venom, and it's nice because it's a quick effect negate essentially, and like a lot of decks can put out a dark and a fusion or such, or like if they put out a fusion even, you can use Your Verde, which is a dark, and like I don't know, I like it. So we mill 2 our Hers and our core, and we're going to go ahead and get our core because there's really nothing else engraved to try and mill for. So then we're going to summon our core and search out our overflow so we can just pop his summon. Linking off into our Verde, mostly just to link it off because otherwise it's going to just sit there and he'll get it back in the end phase, and we don't want him to have it back. So we're going to go ahead and attack his whole field and use Verde attack 500. He draws Nibiru for turn. I'm not too worried about Nibiru, especially at this point. The game is so simplified. Place, he's going to go ahead and grab a kid. Sorry about that. Getting a little stiff. I had to crack. But so I thought about negating it here, but I was like, if I popping it with overflow. But if I popped it with overflow and he has any kid in hand, I lose the game, which he does have a kid in hand and Pandemonium. So it worked out really good that I didn't do that. And then he has Lampsies. Summoning the Lampsies on summon. Now we're going to go ahead and attempt to pop, but he's going to chain the Pandemonium, which ends up leaving him with just Nibiru in hand. So this is best case for us. We're going to pop the rocket in place. And then he's going to get to summon 2 monsters still from his other Prank-Kids, or his only one. I guess only one, because he's like burning through all of his resources. So anyway, he summons the 1, goes into Meow Meow, and then gets him a Lampsies. Now he's going to go for Doodle, and obviously he's going to grab, well, not his Pandemonium yet, but go Battle Phase, take out my Verde. Main Phase 2, popping itself to get Pranks and his Dropsies. So then he's just going to use the Pranks to get a free draw because he's trying to set up a turn where he can try to go for lethal, and he draws into Forbidden Droplet, so that's a pretty good draw from him. Only card in my deck right now that I can't win the game with. The only card out of 31 cards that I don't win, because if I don't draw hers, I mill hers and core, and then I summon core, or how is that? I'd mill hers and core, special get core back, summon core, and go grab overflow because I do play multiple overflow. Pop his normal summon again and basically win because I can attack for 63. Like, 31 cards, guys. 31 cards, and the only one because I have 2 hers is banished already. So, yeah, it was rough. So we send core and Naxter, and that's because I want the versatility in what I can do. We're gonna go battle phase, attacking for 63 and 1, so 6400. Linking off our hers then, and right here is the one play where it could have been better, but I grabbed Naxter because I was going for my follow-up. I'm assuming I'm going to lose my Rampage. I'm hoping that I don't lose the game, and now I have my follow-up play a little more directly as opposed to hoping that core resolves to search a different card to hope that card resolves to get to the Rampage, and Naxter can't get met by an Ash Blossom and things like that. So plus now if I have no monsters, I'd have a core engrave that I can banish to summon a monster, and then I can always normal the Naxter, revive the Rampage, and link into a Seeger and really attack for game. So that's why we grabbed our Naxter, not our core. But you'll see here shortly, it does not work out in our favor. So anyway, he normal summons the droplet, or Dropsies, then goes Meow Meow and gets his Lampsies. Then he links 2 into Doodle, getting a Roxy's in the process. Doodle then affect Rocket Ride and Fansies, and now he can use his polymerization into that said Rocket Ride, Nibiru, and then he draws into an impermanence. Rocket Ride effect, get Bow Wow, get Doodle, and now here he could have set Imperm and Droplet, and we were talking about it after, and he would have been in a pretty decent position because he can negate me once, negate me, and cut my attack, and then attack over me and everything. So he kind of was in a decent position, but he went for Unicorn, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily the wrong call to go for the Unicorn, because if he did that, sets the negates, I mean, I would open up by attempting to mill 2, and he'd probably negate it, and then I could link off and then summon Naxter, and then he'd negate it, and then I could go into a 3600 mega fleet or something. So I don't know, it ended up working out, so we can't say it's too bad. But Unicorn, then 2200 damage because Almrush has no attack. Oh, running out of breath. A 57-minute match is a lot of talking. And right there, so remember how I had 31 cards and I drew into the one card that I couldn't draw? He had 21 cards and he drew into the one card he needed, and he banishes my core then. So that really hurt. If we grabbed our core back here instead of the Naxter, like I said, we'd be in a much better position because, well, one, the called by would probably have been set, or hit the Naxter, but he probably would have just set it instead, and then we could Cosmic, still hitting that card because I wouldn't worry about the new one. I always hit the one that was there first. Well, not always, but a lot of the time. So I say would have Cosmic the Imperm just like we do here, and then I would have normaled core and, well, searched out Overflow, and then made my Mega Fleet, and yeah, the rest would have been kind of history from there. But anyway, so we get him down to 2700. I tell him, no drawing prank kid cards now. That's all I'm asking. Just one turn of no prank kids cards. He draws Dropsies and he'd pass his turn because he has no extra deck. He can't play right now. So this is good. This is great, right? We have 2400 attack. He draws into a ghost spell. I'm not worried about a ghost spell. So we have 2400 attack. He has 2700 life points. And we draw into machine duplication. We draw hers. He draws Call by the Grave. We draw Machine Dupe. It's gonna be like that. It is going to be like that. He couldn't believe that I didn't have game. So 2400, he's down to 300, draws into a Monster Reborn. So now he has his kid and his extender and his extra deck. And yeah, so can't really last much longer, can it? But I mean, like, I'm seriously like dying over here trying to talk so much because of just like showing you guys how Cyber Dragons cannot grind. And Monster Reborn onto Battle Butler, must be Fusion Summoned, so put it back in the grave and grab the Doodle instead. Doodle effect, which this works out anyway, because then he gets Pandemonium in place. Playing the place, now he's going to go and link into another Doodle, making my Mega Fleet go down to 1900 and burning me for 500 in the process. So now he's going to go Battle Phase after getting his token and attack for 100. I decided to type it to him instead of actually taking it off my life points at first, but then I realized what I did and do it, and he goes ahead and draws into an Ash Blossom. So, like, let's just get this straight for a second. My turn now. I draw the 1 out of 31 to lose the game hers. He draws Called by the Grave. I draw Machine Dupe, a dead one, mind you. He draws Monster Reborn, another one of. He draws Ash Blossom, another way to stop me. I draw into another basically useless card. Oh, man. Where's Dragoon when you need it? But no, for real, I'm not missing Dragoon at all. It's just really unfortunate, and like, that's the way it goes. Only playing the one Mega Fleet, not that it would really matter too much. I mean, I could have cleared off 2 cards, I guess. So if I played 2 Mega Fleets, I could have Mega Fleeted, attacked over the Roxies. And then, I mean, he drew into Imperm, so it'd actually be in an okay position. But I mean, with 700, he'd have no way to really attack for anything. And yeah, so instead, he's able to go into Meow Meow and then basically just combo off at this point. And it's not going to matter because I get burned for 500 more, and now he's going to just attack me for 400 and game. So yeah, and we end up milling Overflow, so that would have been our next card. Had we had that second Mega Fleet then, I mean, he drew into another Instant Fusion. It would have been crazy, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy with how the deck performed. I don't think you can get any closer than this. It was, I lost count of how many turns it was. If you're counting, kudos to you. But anyway, guys, Cyber Dragons are in a really good spot. The deck can, like, this is a strict going second, like, heavy power going second card build, and it really grinds well. And I'm really happy with how the deck performs, and I think I'm well this close to having the ratios completely nailed out, and I'll get that deck list to you guys. But so we're 8-1 right now on ranked. We're getting close to that 600 mark. I mean, it's 2 a.m. my time. I've been playing for the last like 6 hours. I was at like 300, 250, 300 when I started today, and we're at like 550 now. So it's been a long day. We might go play another one because we can't end on a loss, and then probably go to bed. But guys, thanks for watching, and stick around for more replays.